if this strike, this writers and this actors strike keep going on, like what are y'all gonna do? Like if we, because there has to be some gap in there, right? Like we're gonna run out of shows eventually.
I feel like I've been running out of shows already. You know what's funny is someone hit me up DM and they were like, "What happened to last week's show? Y'all part of the writers?" Like, who's writing y'all's content? Is that why y'all?
We should tweet that thing. We should tweet that. It's like, hey guys, we decided to break the chain.
You know, it's crazy. I haven't even paid attention that the writer strikes been going on.
It's a serious thing. It is like a serious.
But it's not only the writers, but the Actors Guild.
Yeah.
Well, I saw a list one day. It was like 7 different organizations.
They you know.
It's
very similar to the running backs issue.
Oh yeah,
y'all
yeah.
can hold
yeah,
out,
yeah.
but y'all are just like asking for it. Like you know, AI is just waiting to break through.
Yeah.
I think the reason I haven't realized is because football.
Oh
So
yeah,
it's
so
been
that's
taking
gonna
my-
be
'cause-
interesting too.
What?
Because they say that streaming, people who watch streaming services, like it goes down during football season.
Right.
And so like people don't sign up for streaming services during football season.
You got to consolidate.
Yeah. So
I think what you're making me realize though is once the season's over, there's not gonna be anything to watch.
ain't gonna be nothing to
Damn.
watch. Yep. Nothing to watch, son.
Man, but you got a lot of shows.
I can go
some
back and
bangers
still
that
catch.
Yeah, I feel like I got nothing.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like I tried, like I literally turned on the TV the other day, like probably for like last week, and it's just like nothing. I just like have zero interest.
See,
in
y'all allow
everything
yourselves to
about
watch trash though.
it. I don't, but that's
For
the
me,
thing.
I don't even allow myself to waste time.
That's the
It got
thing,
to be
is, like,
top
I can't-
notch.
Yeah, that's the thing is I can't. Like I'll always give a show a chance. I'll give it like 1 or 2 episodes.
Nah, I don't
And
do
then after
that.
that, like.
I got to hear from multiple people.
Yeah.
But
It's
see,
good.
But see, I guess I have different tastes too, though, because like a lot of people don't like certain shows.
I can't watch something just you like. It has to be at least
But that's what I'm saying.
5
I
people.
I think a lot of people don't like the shows that I like.
Right, so
I
I'm
can't
not gonna watch it.
Yeah.
I'll be pissed off. Like, why the hell Abby got me watching
I
this
can't,
trash?
I can't take that approach.
Yeah.
I wish I could though. I wish
Y'all
I
watching
could.
Foundation? That's on Apple.
Oh, so terrible. That's terrible.
Season 1 was so good.
See?
though.
No, season 1 really wasn't. I mean, it's they put way too much. It really feels like they had probably 10 to 20 different writers.
Yeah,
doing
yeah,
its
yeah.
own individual
That's what I'm
episode.
talking about.
There's like. There's just like no cohesiveness. There's no natural
100%
flow.
agree.
See?
It's all.
But season
over
1
the
was
place.
good though to me.
all over
Nah,
the
see?
place.
Season
I've
1
heard
was
people
good.
talk about it, but then I hear
Yeah.
other people say stuff like that.
But there are
I'm
some
not even
things
gonna waste
that
my
are coming
time.
out. There are some things that are coming out. I think Dune's coming out. Dune season 2's coming
What's
out.
Doom?
Oh yeah, yeah. I didn't even watch season 1.
What's Doom?
Apparently, Star Wars. Don't come at me. This is what
Oh,
I read.
Dune.
Dune, yeah.
Okay, I got
Star
you.
Wars stole their plot from Dune.
I heard that. I
Mm.
heard about that.
George
I haven't seen Star Wars though,
Hmm.
so I can watch either
Me
one.
Me either. Me either.
Yeah.
I mean, I shouldn't say that. It's
I'm one of like the 2% of people.
it doesn't translate.
I didn't
to
watch
time,
Star Wars,
which
yeah.
is why I don't like see.
Star
usually it's
Wars
like-
doesn't?
Yeah, it does not.
What about Doom?
don't
Well, I
know
guess
if
it
was
just
an
came out,
older
so
movie,
it might as well. Should I watch it?
This is literally, it's one of those where the book is probably better than the movie.
I hate those people. I hate those people. Oh man,
That's what
the
Game
book
of
is-
Thrones was, though.
But the movie is.
I never
still
read
pretty
the
good.
books.
Game
If
of Thrones
something-
is off the
I
chain.
never read the Game of Thrones.
Woo!
I never read the Game
If
of
something
Much better.
comes out in a movie, I will not like read the book.
Yeah.
I just can't. I can't go back. If it's a
I
movie,
made my son read
no,
it.
it's a,
I'll be honest with you. I don't read like that
Yeah,
at
me
all.
either.
But somebody told me, and I think what it was is it was that time period between seasons of Game of Thrones,
Yeah.
and I wanted to kind of see what was happening.
Yeah.
Somebody's like, the books are better than the show. Read the books, man. Wait. And the crazy thing is, if you end up reading the book and I have a digital copy, I can send it to you.
I'm not gonna. Read.
I know. But the show is literally the book is literally like a script to the show. Like it's not even like, and it's kind of makes me realize the show writers didn't really have to do anything.
Like, it's just
They literally just read the book. You say this,
Yeah.
and then you do this, and you say this. Next page.
Yeah,
And then when they did switch it up, that's when people started getting upset.
yeah.
Exactly.
started messing-
That show's gonna
Exactly.
go forever. Though.
Or
That's
when
gonna
they
go-
ran out of material. And
Well,
they
that's
had to,
yeah.
get
There's a
creative.
part. There's a part in the story
Yeah.
or in the
Yeah.
books where it hasn't been
Yeah.
continued yet, and you can see it in the show where it's like things
don't know
just
where to
ain't.
go.
Yeah.
Things ain't flowing the way it used to flow.
Yeah.
So
Man.
that's a whole nother discussion, man.
But hey, yeah, drop us a DM if this actually gets posted. Drop us a DM of
Some shows.
yeah.
I ain't watching
Nothing but bangers. I want bangers. Don't send me like 6 out of 10. I need 7.5 and up.
I ain't
But
watching.
there's gonna be a time where like, we're gonna run out of material. Welcome to First and 15, the only podcast that's trying to get you paid. I'm here with two-time FFPC champion AB. Alongside him is my guy, Dio the Machine. Guys, we are back this week. Listen, Dio went to training camp. We read all these notes from reporters.
Go ahead.
We read all these notes from like reporters and stuff like that about training camp. Like you going yourself, like has it like affected how you look at reporters? Like, is it really helpful to go? Like, do you feel like you got like an inside like game on going to training camp?
No. I mean, I wasn't going as an insider or a reporter. I was going as a fan, right? So I was just going to just enjoy the practice. I will say it's good to kind of, and that's with all things. It's good to actually kind of see for yourself. You know, how Abby's always talking about, you know, you get these quotes people blast out on Twitter and it's not in context. He likes to actually go back and read the quotes. Same type of thing. You know, you get all these people talking about such and such was dominating practice, such and such was doing this. Man, watch the practice, man. Because so just picking up the Texans practice, a lot of it was kind of underwhelming. You know, and you know, obviously it's still early. They're still working out kinks. A lot of young players, a lot of new players, new staff. What am I saying? Everybody's new, new system. But you just watch it like, dang, it's like if it was a game, man, our offense probably would have put up like 150 yards total.
Ooh, man.
But
that doesn't make you feel good.
I don't know if it's a really make you feel good or bad thing because again, they're working through it. You got a lot. Remember, you're seeing 90-man roster. You're not seeing the 53. You're not seeing the best of the best. People are getting rest. People are sitting out, vet rest and all that stuff.
And they're working on specific things as
well.
well.
Exactly. Working on things they probably are not good at.
And things that they're not going to show to everyone as well.
That's another thing. And another thing that I mentioned when I was there is like the practicing short. I guess it was supposed to be 2 hours total allocated. But the actual practice time that we saw, maybe an hour and 20 minutes, including like special teams work. Where like a machine would just.
Like, I feel like a lot of it too is like media fluff. You know.
I mean, keep in mind you got all these fans there.
So
like you're not gonna put everything out there and all that stuff. So
they need to sell season tickets. So they gotta show face. So I'm sure like you know, PR team, GM, even you know, owner obviously are like, look, just do something. Show them something, you know.
It was more of a spectacle.
And the head coach is like, you know, all right, just, you know, let's just work on this real quick. You know, something that's like.
It was more of like entertainment. But it was cool. I mean, they practiced. It was good seeing, you know, Stroud out there doing his thing, Tank out there doing his thing. I actually got to meet a fair amount of them. Tank, I got to meet Stroud. I got to meet Case Keenum. Some other guy. You know, I'm a Texans fan, so I was just enjoying all that. But as far as when it comes to fantasy, because this is a fantasy show, right? Tank looks good, man.
Oh yeah.
I think.
So wait. So like preseason one just wasn't just a flash. Like everybody just seeing the highlight.
I'm in agreement with you.
Let me say it like this more so. Tank looked like the most highest potential weapon out there if we're talking about fantasy, right?
Okay.
And day one, I don't think he's going to. I mean, we're still a few weeks away from the season, so we don't know what'll happen. But if the season started today, he's not starting. Right? Okay. He's going to come in, you know, get his reps, probably get targeted when he does come in. But then most of the time it's going to be Woods, Noah Brown, and Nico.
Okay.
But when
so no Mechie?
No.
Oh man.
Mechie's still working his way back.
Man, if y'all drafting Mechie, man, you might have to be patient. Like real patient.
Inside
information.
I mean, So they do.
Didn't look it?
It's not even that they didn't look it. So if you've never been to a practice, I've been to a few practices before, so I kind of expect the whole setup. But you know, they do their individual drills first, and then they do like kind of like 7-on-7 and all that stuff. Man, I don't think Mechie had more than maybe 2 targets out of everything I saw. You know, like I saw Tank get targeted a bunch. I saw Noah Brown get targeted a bunch. I even saw Steven Sims getting targeted a fair amount. Of course, Robert Woods and Nico, but Mechie was just kind of afterthought.
Yeah.
Now, Cream rises to the top, so eventually he might be the guy. But there's nothing I saw when just actually watching him. There's nothing I saw that made me feel like this guy is super talented. He needs more snaps. While Tank is like, hey.
Oh, yeah, well, that's the guy.
Hey, get that guy in there.
Get that I like Tank too, but I feel like you don't have to draft Tank. I feel like people are going to draft him. They're going to see he's not starting week 1, and he'll be the first person dropped on waivers. But also, I think the issue early on in the season is they got, they want to establish the run. This is, I think, what this team wants to do. They want to run the ball. So there's a reason why Robert Woods was signed. There's a reason why they brought in Noah Brown. These are big body wide receivers that can block, And Robert Woods has sure hands. Our defense, I think, is going to be something that, like...
Defense looks solid.
Yeah.
Defense real solid. Front to back. Front to back. Every linebackers, the whole deep... fantasy-wise, don't target the Texans defense.
Exactly.
Because they're going to be imposing.
Exactly. And so, to me, that is the issue. Because if you want to be a run-first team and you got a pretty good defense, early on in the season, we're going to see Robert Woods and Noah Brown probably a lot in, 2 wide receiver sets, meaning those other guys are probably going to be on the bench. Then eventually, we're likely probably not going to be a playoff team.
Yeah.
So once we're either out of contention or, start working towards getting a higher draft pick, then I think that's when we start to see guys like...
remember, we don't have our draft pick.
Oh, that's right.
That's right. Yeah.
But still, they're still going to want to go into player evaluation mode. So I think that's maybe when you start to see a Robert Woods, Noah Brown fall back, and they start to get maybe a Tank Dell in there.
I will say this: I was slightly concerned. So this was Sunday, I believe I went. I was concerned about our line protection. I feel like Stroud was having to. Oh, by the way, Stroud is running with the ones. Like, if you're concerned about who's a starting quarterback, it's not a competition. They haven't said it yet, but Stroud is always running the ones. He's getting the most reps, not all the most reps, always going out there first. But I was concerned as far as them not being able to protect him that well because he was running a lot. And again, it might just be our defense is just that good, And it's fun. It's a little tangent, but I always be thinking about practice reports when they be like, the offense was killer today. So everybody say the defense was trash?
Because
it's the same team,
they don't
right?
say that. Right.
Or the defense was dominant today. Okay, was the offense just trash then? So it's just a funny dynamic. But with that being said, since then, and I just kind of been looking at reports just across the league, it's almost like it's an epidemic across the league, offensive line issues.
Ty Towers injured too, so that's
yeah, he was out too. But it just made me feel like maybe I shouldn't be too concerned, or maybe it's just every team is gonna have offensive line issues right now. And I was hearing about the Jets.
Oh yeah.
They're talking about how bad their offensive line is.
I mean, the Jets and the Panthers to me,
oh yeah,
those two teams really. That's where as far as preseason takeaways, those were two major things. Really kind of making me think about how much of that offense I want. And,
Bingo.
And so and then and conversely I've kind of pivoted. I'm starting to now look, okay, who are the offenses that are really going to produce points? And you know what? I'm just going after them. I'm just going to go after those offenses that are going to put up points and just get a piece of those offenses. And then ideally things shake out for the best, but. Targeting some of these that's why Damian Pierce goes so late. You always see those. You always see the post. Why such and such player going so late? This is a travesty. Is it really? That's the market. That's the market. The reason he's going so late is because he plays for the Texans. We're not sure what the offense is going to be first year. Yeah, it's going to be improved, but he's not playing for the Philadelphia Eagles.
They're not going to have high score totals.
Yeah, exactly. You're not projecting him for 15 plus TDs, things like that.
Right.
So
I did want to mention about Damian Pierce. Thank you for bringing him up. Number one, I don't think he's going to get much passing work. He's going to be a grinder between the tackles. He's not super fast, so I didn't really see many sweeps or outside. I mean, I think they're going to have a zone blocking, so he's going to have that type of one cut, go down the line thing. But Singletary is getting a fair amount of work too, so don't ignore Singletary. But it's really just those two guys.
Yeah. So Dare wasn't who's probably
the third running back that came in was Mike Boone.
As far as third down, though. They probably get a good.
They didn't. I didn't really see anybody that seemed like a third down back. I didn't see them target the running backs much. So there might be an offense where, and I don't. I'm sorry?
That's a Dalton Schultz like statement, right? Like
Oh,
if you're
Dalton
not-
Schultz is somebody. I'm sorry. I was talking
That
about
is my
Tank
dude.
before.
Yeah.
Dalton Schultz probably going to be the guy that leads the team in targets.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Literally been my dude from day one.
Yeah, he's probably going to lead the team in targets.
Day
Oh
one.
man.
But I was trying to think.
tried to
Yeah,
tell
you did. You did.
Did the Niners throw to their running backs? I know when they got C-Mac they did, but
Yeah.
prior to C-Mac, were they
That's the
targeting their
thing.
running backs?
Well, like they were moving Debo, so like it's kind of deceiving a little bit because Debo was there.
Yeah.
in the backfield.
So like being
Yeah,
able
if
to
you
run
look
the
at the-
ball and throwing it to
exactly,
him is,
like if you look at the numbers, like they targeted the running back at a very hefty, rate, but that's because Debo was coming out of the backfield. But I think it goes back to that kind of discussion, like, do you have a running back that's worth being targeted?
Yeah.
So like if you don't, then you don't.
Then you don't do it, yeah.
We heard about it every single offseason. Such and such running back is working on his passing skill. Blah 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 blah.
They all are, man.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
all are.
Yeah.
They all trying to get
Yeah.
paid. 'Cause
Yeah.
they know that like running in between the tackles does not get paid. So
Are you drafting Dameon Pierce?
I have not gotten much. I was a little bit, but I tried to sprinkle a little bit of some in. That 6th round running back group, or like that later round or late running.
Who's he
back
going
group.
around, Chris? Like
He goes around like Rashad White,
White,
Miles
White.
Sanders,
Alexander
like
Madison?
Alexander Madison. So
Are you taking him after all those guys? Or
yeah,
before all
after all those guys, like
After,
I've solidified my ranks amongst those groups, and because part and due to the pass catching and the offense, he is towards the bottom end of that.
after James Conner?
James Conner's a tough one. It depends on the team build. If I need someone to just kind of be there for me for the first half of the season, James Conner.
so you're really only thinking James Conner is going to give you like 6 to
That's
7.
all I'm expecting.
like,
I mean, if he gives me more, great. But that's all I'm expecting.
Man.
That's all.
What do you think is going to happen after those 6 weeks?
I just think this is a really, really bad team. Like a really, really bad team. Terrible
Right.
personnel. So I think they are tanking for Caleb. It makes 0 sense not to. I don't even know if we go, I just think that this team towards the back end of the year is really just going to be putting in young guys, using that as an excuse.
I got
when
you.
really they just want the first round pick.
I got you.
Like this is like when was the last time there was a prospect like Caleb Williams, out there? So like, why would you want to screw that up? You draft him and you.
I mean, they got a reason though, right? They actually do have a reason.
Yeah.
Kyler.
But you get Caleb and you figure out everything else, or you just get the number 1 pick and then
and
King's ransom.
Yeah, I feel you on that.
So like, there's no reason like if you are part of that organization, especially you a new GM coming in.
Yeah.
Like that's free money. That's free money. You have probably the worst roster in the NFL. It is free money.
What? You think
Cardinals.
the Cardinals have the worst
They have
roster?
the worst roster in the NFL right now. It's not even close. It's not even close. Because I'm assuming Kyler's not going to be there through half the season. You can't name me a worse roster.
Well, only,
Their
only
starting
if
quarterback is either Colt McCoy or Clayton Tune.
No, I got you. But
Go
that's only
Cougs.
if yeah. Watch your mouth. But that's only if you assume that Kyler isn't there.
That defense is terrible. The O-line is okay. You got an aging running back. The wide receivers are
So you are
below
you,
average, well below average.
Are you totally hands off the Cardinals?
No, because I still think it could be useful. You just gotta know. My whole approach to drafting this year is not assuming that anybody plays all the games, but I just want talent, and at some point you're gonna help me on my way to a victory. I don't need someone who's gonna be a late season. Who's the guy? Brees Hall. One of the reasons to draft Brees Hall is because by the end of the year he's gonna win me, take me to a championship. I don't care about any of that.
Yeah.
Like, a guy giving me the first elite 4 to 5 weeks, or the first 5 weeks, to me is almost as important as that late season run.
But letting you
because
figure it out.
if I can count on you those first 5 weeks, and I don't got to play around and lose points and make the wrong start sit decisions, I can figure out who's gonna
can figure it out,
perform
yeah.
later
You can
on.
figure it out.
I got you.
Like the first 5 weeks, we just don't know what's going on. Like we all got all these guesses and assumptions, and we have these idea of the idea of like what we think these teams are going to do, what we think players are how they're going to perform. But really, like
We don't know.
Yeah, it's
we
opening
don't know.
up Christmas presents.
I feel you on that.
So yeah, let's stay on Brees for a second because not our group chat, but like our Twitter chat was kind of all over the place when it came to like how to treat Brees both
Everybody
in redraft and in dynasty. Now that Dalvin Cook is on that team, because the idea is that if Aaron Rodgers is going to be there for multiple years, he wanted Dalvin on that team. So it kind of behooves him to keep Dalvin on the team as long as Aaron Rodgers is there. How are you guys treating Brees Hall now that Dalvin is on the Jets?
You mean dynasty wise?
Let's first talk about redraft, but then dynasty, because I think dynasty is more interesting, like how to treat him.
Yeah.
So
So look, anything could happen. Dalvin Cook could like get hurt. I actually think his surgery helped out his shoulder, because I know people will say, "Oh, he's injury prone. He just had shoulder surgery," and I think that actually helped stabilize his shoulder, because he was playing through that.
Otherwise, why get it?
Yeah. So, but he could get hurt, and Breece Hall could be healthy, this and that. My whole, stance with Breece Hall was like, he's coming off an ACL. I don't care how simple the ACL was. Number one, I don't put him in the Adrian Peterson category. I feel like he's overrated, to be quite honest. We've talked about the Jets O-line.
That's a hot take, believe it or
I really
not.
do feel like he's overrated. Like, he's got, great athleticism and this and that, but I just feel like he's just overrated. I truly
You know
believe
what's
that.
crazy? I kind of agree with you.
Yeah, like,
but nobody's saying it.
The way we talk about him is like, oh, if he didn't have an injury, he would be like the number one running back. Like, with that O-line, Like this, and this team keeps telling us that they won an RBBC. Like, they keep telling us that.
That's fair. Yeah.
People will run down one avenue with the narrative and then completely ignore the rest. Like, remember, this team was like, there was rumors that they were trying to draft Gibbs. Like, you don't draft a running back in the first round unless you have it in your mind that you want to use him. So what does that tell me?
You mean draft Gibbs at number 15? Or
or wherever they had him in the first round.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely. Wow. So to me, and they've obviously been talking with Dalvin Cook, and everyone's like, "Oh, Aaron Rodgers is one of them." They just congealed and just went along with what he wanted. We don't necessarily know that. That's just sort of kind of talking points for Breece Hall. So for me, I'm like, this is an RBBC. Y'all can have it. He's a running back coming in off an ACL. Like, I don't need Breece Hall. You don't need Breece Hall, especially in the third round. I never understood the third round Breece Hall. And now I think I saw him go in the fourth. I was in a shout out to Deep End. Check out their show. They live streamed the main. I just happened to be in that one. That was a tough main. It was them, Hubbard, the Glids was in there, so it was a tough main. They ended up taking Breece Hall, and I'm not knocking anybody who's taking him, because I understand the logic that if you're gonna bet that ACL improves and that somehow Dalvin is pushed to the side. Okay, like I said, anything could happen. But for me, it's just not for me. There's just too many guys in that area that I just feel could all be league winners.
Yeah.
You can't you could argue almost any of these guys that down the stretch could literally be a league winner. We've literally seen everybody do it. I've seen Rex Burkhead be a league winner. I've seen Justin Jackson be a league winner. Anybody can be a league winner. So that early on, I'm not taking a guy who's in an RBBC where I got to make a bunch of guesses.
So real quick. So a few things. Number one, and this might be narrative based, but I did see a report today where Dalvin Cook said once Aaron Rodgers was signing with the Jets, he knew that if the Vikings let him go, he was going to sign with the Jets. And it might have been something he says after the fact. Everybody was talking about Miami. He wanted to go home, but I mean, he said it. So you can take it with a grain of salt. But that's number one. Number two, as far as Bryce is concerned, I saw a story today, and I didn't read the full story. I'm not like Abby. I'm lazy. I just give me the quote. I'm good. All right, I'll take that. I'll run with it. Right.
That's the meme. I don't know if this is good or bad. So
I'm gonna go with it. I'm gonna go with it. Shoot. If they put it in quotation marks, he said it, right? Yeah. But they said that he still gets a little bit of knee soreness, and also he still doesn't feel 100% comfortable in cutting.
You don't feel. Look, I've been through 2 ACLs. I'm an athlete. I don't care what y'all say. But no, seriously, I've been through 2 ACLs, and ask any athlete who's been through an ACL. Nobody feels 100% that first year. So now you telling me a running back who needs to cut, and who needs to create power off that leg, is supposed to just come in and just be this guy that y'all think he is. He may not be him. Number one, he may, even a healthy him, he may not be him. 2, you're betting a lot. Basically, you're ignoring all research. You're ignoring all past data and saying that he's just gonna come back to be 100%.
Right.
That's a lot to ask for. I'm 100% with you on that. That knee takes a while to come back, and then you got to worry about all the compensatory injuries, because you're overcompensating with this area. Now you pull a hamstring, or now your quad's not firing right. There's just so much that can go on with that. Just look at the data. The data is overwhelming to that you're not going to get 100% Breece Hall.
Yeah.
So like, this is the easiest thing to do, and like you may be wrong like 1 out of 10 times, if even that. Fade all running backs coming off of ACL.
Right.
Scott and Barrett, get them the second year.
That's what
Scott
Barrett
Barrett
said.
said.
Second
Right?
year.
Yeah.
That's because every single orthopedic and physical therapist will pretty much say, like, if you live by that rule, you'll probably be good like 9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
So full disclosure, I don't have any Breece Hall. I've drafted a fair amount. You know, I'm never going to tell you the amount, but I don't have any. Like I have 0 Breece Hall.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is I just felt like he was just going too high. People were taking him, and maybe I can't say they were taking him at his ceiling because people, if he was totally healthy, I think he probably would have been a first round in people's mind. I don't know if I would have even taken him there, but I think people would have probably put him there. But he's being taken in like the early third. And just that same mindset. Remember, I've said it before. I don't want players where this season I got to worry about their injury, where every week I have to try like be nervous as far as whether they're going to play because they've been questionable all week. So I don't want to take a player that high that I'm going to have to kind of have that concern with. So I haven't had any Breece Hall. Now that he's dropping in the 4th,
You probably get him
I'll
in the
probably.
fifth now.
Oh really? If he's going in the 5th, then I'll probably take him now.
Like Ramondre is going in the 4th right now.
I would definitely take Ramondre.
I took him last night in the main.
Yeah, I don't have that much with Ramondre either.
And you know, now's the time.
I haven't been saying this much because I feel like the whole fantasy community has loved both of them.
Yeah.
And I feel like if you talk about either of them, they're gonna like come down. So I haven't really said much.
And this is the thing too, and this is like when it comes to kind of like if you're a volume drafter in draft logic, if you're hearing rumors of like teams bringing in players to talk to them, teams bringing in players to potentially add to their like running back room, chances are they're probably gonna bring in somebody.
Right.
And it doesn't matter like who they bring in. Yeah, you're gonna have the people who are just gonna stay down that hill. Say it doesn't matter who they bring in. Like Dalvin Cook, for instance.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter. Breece Hall still as good. Like I've heard arguments that it may actually be better for Breece Hall that they brought in Dalvin Cook, but.
People are always going to speak on their biases, man. Their biases always determine their arguments.
But knowing that, like, there's a potential for that to happen, I'm just like, okay, well, I'll just wait. Because as soon as somebody signs, their ADP is going to drop.
Okay.
Human nature. So, like, now is the time where, like, if you want to get some Breece Hall shares,
this is the time to get them.
This is to get them. Yeah. You want to get some Ramondre shares, get them. Like, this is the time to get them.
So, with that same notion,
the
teams that are bringing in running backs now then are like the Vikings. They've been bringing in running backs.
Yes, this is why I don't draft a lot of Madison.
Right. The Vikings.
And he's just not that good.
The Saints were, but they signed to Darrell Williams today, so I don't know if they're done.
Darrell's done. I can't much.
But I'm just saying they signed the guy, so maybe they're done.
But guess what? This is the time now to get Kendre Miller. And I got
of course. I think the Browns bringing somebody in, they have to now, right? Because Jerome Ford is hurt.
Is Ford hurt?
I want to say they
signed he had a
hamstring.
Somebody.
I can't remember.
Did they sign somebody?
Maybe.
Okay. Well, you just made a good point. When teams are bringing guys in, like even if they haven't brought a guy in, that means they're looking. It can happen any moment. Brace for it. Stay ready with it. So now, as far as dynasty is concerned, I don't think it affects his ranking at all.
At all?
No. I mean, remember, dynasty is a long-term game.
I got it.
Now, if we're talking about the ACL, that's one thing. But you're talking about the Dalvin signing.
Yes.
I don't think Dalvin signing, because first of all, it's a 1-year contract. All right. People that love Breece Hall love his talent. So the talent is not just going to go away. And if they had Breece Hall before, they weren't concerned with the injuries.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So just Dalvin just being there, I mean, they probably thought it was going to be a slow ramp up anyways. And the people that do like Breece Hall, they have this bias where they basically tell themselves, Dalvin will probably get the early workload or be sprinkled in, but Dalvin will probably be the 1B to Breece's 1A. Yeah. That's what they're telling themselves. Yeah. And remember, with Dynasty, it's all about value.
Yeah.
It's not so much about what reality is, but it's more about what perception is, because it's all about what you can sell a player for, how much it costs to get a player. Yeah. That it's all currency.
I don't think it changes his value, but I played Dynasty. Take this with a grain of salt because I played Dynasty for 1 year.
You're a vet now, though. You're a veteran, so speak on it.
But for me, like the running backs, I would treat them like tight ends, to be quite honest.
How do you treat tight ends?
Basically, like if people are like super high on them, draft them, and then just trade them away for a king's ransom, and then get back like an aging tight end or like a kind of a mid-grade tight end in return and just roll with that. So I would treat the running back I would treat Breece Hall the same way. I would like try to sell him and get back like a king's ransom, and then just get like a decent running back that I can start now in return. I think this running backs, like the value of running backs to me, like what else do we need to see? Look what has happened with Jonathan Taylor. Look at his like stock, how it's plummeted. Where was he ranked in Dynasty a year ago?
Right.
So like if you can get a king's ransom for Breece Hall, man, go get that king's ransom and just play for like the next 2 or 3 years. Get a running back that's going to be around for the next 2 or 3 years.
It's almost like
first and second round, a couple first round picks if you can.
It's almost like running backs almost have to become almost now a year-to-year proposition, maybe even 2 years. You know, so you have to look at a guy like, and if it truly is going to become a 1 or 2 year proposition, in my mind, you really should be trying to acquire these running backs when you're in a win now mode. When you're really going for it, because if you're not going for it, then you're just sitting on money. That's going to devalue.
How much would an Aaron Jones go for? Like if I wanted to get Aaron Jones in Dynasty right now,
he's probably cheap, bro.
Like what, a round 2 pick?
Yeah,
second round pick.
Maybe.
See, like that's the game right there to me. Like that's the game. Like take that round 2, give me Aaron Jones, like, and I'll just roll with him for like the worst a year. Try to win this championship now. Ideally, I get 2 years out of him, and I'm good.
Yeah.
Nah, you probably gonna get 1 year out of
That's actually a good example, Aaron Jones, because he's right there, kind of similar where Joe Mixon's at.
All right, cut that, because I'm trying to go.
No, don't cut that. Can we talk about tight ends?
Let's talk about tight ends.
Let's talk about tight ends. You have any tight ends you want to talk about? Because I got some tight ends I want to talk about. Redraft. Let's push the dynasty aside. We'll put together a dynasty show. We're talking about redraft.
Oh, yeah, tight ends.
Okay, no, stop.
Okay.
Luke Musgrave. Okay, Packer, before he steals my guy. Okay, because I know he's gonna say it. Draft Luke Musgrave. Man, I don't know why I don't have enough. Like I should have been drafting him. He's getting all the reps.
Yep.
And I'm not even talking about just the starting reps. He's getting all the targets, all the usage.
Yep.
And he's free. They're talking about he's the fastest guy on the team, or they like charted that or something like that. He's a big body, second round pick. And I was looking through some of my drafts that I've done in the past. There's like half of my drafts he's not even been drafted.
Yeah.
So go get Luke Musgrave before it's too late.
But do you know who I haven't heard enough about though? Irv Smith. So they brought Irv Smith in.
I haven't heard anything
Cincinnati.
about Irv Smith either.
We haven't heard anything about Irv Smith.
Oh, I'm not done though.
Go ahead.
Jake Ferguson.
Okay, I like Jake.
Go get Jake Ferguson.
You disagree on Jake though.
I disagree on Jake.
I know Juwan Johnson.
Juwan,
Abby's guy.
Hey,
I know he's your guy.
Juwan.
Never wavered.
Yeah.
Never
I
wavered.
know he's your guy.
Never wavered.
Go get him. I still like Kate Otten. Like I don't care what y'all say. I still like Kate Otten back there.
I'm gonna have to see it.
I don't know what's happening with the Jets. I don't know what's happening in Jets, but one of them is going to be. And I guess the point I'm really trying to make
Conklin's the only one who's healthy, right? Like
they're all. Oh yeah, you're right. Rucker did get hurt. Uzuma has been hurt.
And
too.
Uzuma
yeah, you're right.
is hurt too, right? So.
I guess the point I'm really trying to make is this might be the year where one of these late tight ends can hit.
Can actually hit. Yeah.
Hit. Honestly, like I've been drafting like
Tyler
3,
Higbee,
4,
Dalton
5.
Schultz.
Yeah, because especially like if I wait, I'll draft. Like I have no issues drafting 4 if I need to, 5 tight ends, just hoping that one hits.
I mean,
like it's just like I'll just keep them all because like ideally one of these hits, and I'll get like a safe guy who still has some upside, like in a Higbee. I love Dalton Schultz. Like those are like 2 of my highest owned wide receivers outside of Hayden Hurst.
Yeah,
and then I'll just like grab a bunch of just like.
Did I
just,
mention
like,
Hayden Hurst? How you feeling about Hayden Hurst now? You still liking him?
I love Hayden Hurst.
But you just talked about the Panthers' offense.
Yeah, but in tight end premium, this is for tight end premium only.
Okay.
I feel like this team is going to be down quite a bit.
Gotcha.
And I feel like they're going to struggle.
And he's going
to struggle to get the ball to the outside wide receivers because that O-line is really not where it needs to be.
Right.
And Hayden Hurst is just going to be a nice security blanket. They don't really have like this like amazing pass catcher for a running back.
Yeah.
So like Hayden Hurst to me is his like that is the guy underneath that should be getting hopefully like. I mean, I really could see like 7 to 8 targets a game in like best case scenario, and if he's getting like 6 to 5 catches a game, like I mean, that is significant. That is real significant. They also don't have a red zone threat, in my opinion.
Yeah, you're true. You're true that. 2 more guys, and I mentioned them before on the show, but I want to reiterate them so people don't forget. Cole Turner, who I think is going to take that job. I'm even more firm in that mindset, and this is his second year. So he got hurt last year, so we really don't even know what he is yet. But he's been getting a lot of work, and he has been getting talked up a lot. He's been talked up even before camp.
Yeah.
So I already kind of had my eyes on him. And then the Dolphins tight end, they don't talk about any tight end on their roster.
No.
But that last preseason game, Elijah Higgins looked decent. You know, he's a rookie. He's a converted wide receiver. Yeah. I'm not saying look for who the Dolphins tight end is going to be this year, but if it's Higgins, he's the type of guy that has that talent or that skill set where he can be fantasy relevant.
Yeah.
So just kind of put that name in the back of your mind.
Let's talk about preseason week 1. Listen, there's a lot of, splashy plays, whether it's Tank's touchdown or it's George Pickens, like fluky touchdown, in my opinion. Are there any plays or any situations that you guys think people are overreacting on when it comes to preseason week 1? I think it's Tank and that touchdown and that fluky touchdown, because I see that as a fluky touchdown too, where he's probably out of bounds when he caught the ball.
But I don't think the touchdown is what made Tank buzz, grow. I think it was the way he was used, because he had like about 5 catches for like 60-something yards.
For like 60 yards.
Man, I don't know. Tank looked different.
On the field, he looked
different. He looked like he belonged, and he looked like. And New England, I think, was playing like starters on the defense. I believe.
But Tank did his damage like in the second quarter.
He did. He did. I gotta go back and see who's going.
The
separation that he was creating.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The separation,
the breakaway, and even like that touchdown. Even though he may have bobbled that catch, the separation that he got in such a short space, and for them to trust him and go out like he and it's Davis Mills, but he immediately went at him. Yeah. So quarterbacks know that, like, okay, man, if I need somebody that's gonna get open quick, like that's the guy. I just don't know how much he's going to be used. I don't know how many 3 wide receiver sets we're going to be used. Like that's my only issue. But like he does look different. Yeah. If he was, obviously if he was bigger and could get on the field for his blocking and stuff like that, I'd be like probably all over him. Mm-hmm. I just feel like, like you mentioned, to start the year, he's really probably not going to be on the field much. Yeah. And that people are just going to drop him, and then I'll just pick him up.
Yeah.
See, and the thing about the reason why people weren't higher on Tank, even in the dynasty community, as far as, in the draft time period, because of his size. Extremely small, like 5, I don't even know exactly, I'm making it up, like 5'8", 170, something like that, right? So, extremely small. Right. He was in a division like the American Conference that nobody watches that, people disrespect. So, people weren't really respecting him. But you're talking about a guy that led college football in receiving last year. Yeah. And he's been somebody that's been the number 1 receiver for his team for 2-3 years. If you're concerned with his body type, once you saw that he was able to create separation, where guys are respecting his speed, where he's always open. That's one thing. I know a lot of people don't pay attention to Texas, but I got my hands on the pulse. But one thing they've said about Tank this whole summer is nobody can cover him. Yeah, like he's always getting open. So if he can do that, then you start looking at him like almost like how a T.Y. Hilton was. A super small guy, but nobody can cover him. So he was always able to produce.
He's basically like Zay Flowers. He essentially is Zay Flowers. Almost.
Zay Flowers is another guy. Zay Flowers might be a better.
Got more speed, but obviously, but he's very much
a better version. Zay Flowers is. So, like I said, if the Texans can just figure out that offense and then decide to say, okay, you're the guy, let's go. I think he's a steal.
Yeah. Let's stay on Zay Flowers for a bit. There's a report that came out that Lamar Jackson threw a touchdown to Zay Flowers. Mark Andrews takes his helmet off, slams it down so hard that
what was that about?
He breaks his helmet. Is there anything to that, or do you guys, or like, is that one of those like reports where you just like disregard it? It's like, I'm just going to disregard it.
It's too early. If this happened in season, then I'd be like, okay, next week in DFS, I'm playing some Mark Andrews. Yeah. But other than that, I just disregard.
I mean, I feel like we don't have context. Yeah. Right? Like, it happened. Yeah. So I don't think you ignore it because you saw it. It happened. It's out there. Yeah. But I don't think we take it and just make a conclusion off of it. Yeah. Now you see, okay, if something else happens, now it's like, okay, now we got 2 pieces of evidence. There might be some issue going on. It could be a situation where he was mad because the guy that was covering him maybe, held him.
Yeah. He body slammed somebody like, he may be getting a drug test soon because he body slammed somebody else.
I saw that.
For the Commanders. I really haven't been on Mark Andrews to talk, go back to tight end this year at all, just because I feel like
really
more 3 wide receiver sets. Like, yeah, he can still do damage. Maybe more passing, more volume. So now, high increases. But I don't know. I haven't like really felt like just like strongly about trying to like get shares.
But so why do you think? Because I know you said 3 wide receiver sets. Do you think the offense is not going to utilize the tight end? Because this is the same offensive coordinator that was offensive coordinator at Georgia.
Yeah.
And the tight end for Georgia was like one of the best in the nation.
Yeah.
No, I think they're going to utilize it. I just don't necessarily know that he's going to get like that monster target share like he got in the Greg Roman, where they were always like 2 personnel and their wide receivers were terrible.
Do you not believe this is a situation where targets are earned and he has that trust or that rapport with Lamar Jackson?
He's playing with Zay Flowers, Rashad Bateman, if healthy, and OBJ while he's healthy. So, but Isaiah Likely is still, like they said.
But out of all those options, who was Lamar had the most consistent rapport with?
I think a lot of that was dictated by personnel and by the offense that he was in.
So you think if they had different personnel, he wouldn't have been using the injuries as much?
No, because who was his wide receiver? His wide receiver was Marquise Brown. So Marquise Brown ate a little bit, but then there was like nobody else. So it was Marquise Brown and
that's interesting,
and Mark Andrews, and they were always in 12 in 2 wide receiver sets with really only 2 wide receivers on the field, and you had Marquise Brown and then maybe like a Duvernay or whoever. Like, so you didn't really have anybody else that like he was competing targets with.
I hear you.
So I don't know, with them being spread out, like I think he'll be fine. I don't think you're gonna lose your league, but it's not. I just don't get excited. And I'm not like targeting Mark Andrews, probably because the situation's cloudy. Like I just don't know how it's gonna shake out.
Yeah. I more feel like they have this great connection. Yeah. I think it's gonna be Mark Andrews' show, and the receivers are gonna have to figure out the rest.
Yeah, like I think it's much to do about nothing, but I think it's also Lamar trying to make these new additions feel comfortable in the offense. Like start to get timing down with
maybe,
and then Andrews is feeling like he's the odd man out.
Maybe you reaching,
you going down.
You reaching.
I mean, like that's the gravamen of the article.
So you're a lawyer, so you can make a whole story out of it.
That's just what I'm saying. Like that's the
like he literally
could have
had like ants in his helmet. It was
he could have actually stubbed his toe or anything. Chris already got the story played out.
No, he's not getting targets in practice.
He could have got sniped and was like, damn.
I know, right?
Got sniped on underdog. He's like, ah.
So let's stay on week 1. Is there anything that you guys feel like is going under the radar? So we talked about some of these things that are getting overhyped. We should talk about George Pickens a little bit because I feel like that touchdown is getting overhyped a little bit. Because Deontay Johnson looked really good, got some separation. He looked pretty good. And I feel like that George Pickens touchdown is a little fluky.
But do you hear the bias in your voice?
I do hear the bias in my voice.
Okay, as long as you hear the bias in your voice.
But like, before we start to go on the guys that are going under the radar, what do you think about that George Pickens touchdown and how Pittsburgh looked in that preseason game?
So I'm gonna be totally honest with you. I didn't watch many highlights from preseason.
Okay.
A lot of stuff I know for preseason is more so people said it on Twitter.
Yeah.
And I saw it. Or, people on Twitter just like go overboard with stuff or they gas things up. So I didn't really see much. I saw the highlight though. I did see it. I don't know why you're calling it fluky.
Because it just seemed like it was like
then
a
he
missed
catch in the middle of the field.
Yeah, but it was like a missed tackle, and like it just seemed fluky to me.
Okay, I mean, I don't know. I do know that Deontay got the targets leading up to that,
right?
And the takeaway I got from when I saw that was like, is this going to be a return of 2022 where Deontay's getting targeted, but he ain't scoring touchdowns.
Yeah.
Could be. That's the way I read it.
There's some history there.
I wasn't going to say anything.
That's the way I read it.
I'm glad John came to that conclusion.
Yeah.
I didn't have to say it.
There's some history.
I'm glad I didn't have to say it. But I hate being a Deontay hater on the show.
But you also know with me, I don't take too much from. I take grain of salt with preseason, so that didn't really matter to me.
All thing I took from that game is Jalen Warren still looks pretty good. Like
Pickett looked good too. Pickett looked good too. He looked more decisive.
Yeah, he's going into the second year.
Pickett,
My issue is their head coach and their OC. Like, when that changes, then come talk to me. Until that changes, I don't really care about anything else.
Who's the – I was going to say who's the tight end? Freiermuth. What do you think about Freiermuth? You think he's being – because Freiermuth is being drafted right now at the – you can say at the front end of tier 3 or the back end of tier 2.
He's like the easiest fade for me. Like the easiest fade.
Okay, so you're fading. What about you, Chris? You're fading?
Yeah.
Easiest fade. And there's so many like – just amazing players in that tier. Like
Or like just wait and get Dalton Schultz.
Even if you're in the tight end premium, like how am I taking Pat Freiermuth over?
But
Elijah
you see
Moore?
right here, he's taken in the 7th round. People are high. They're semi-high on him.
Yeah.
I can't do it. I can't do it. I can list 20 players I'd rather take.
Can I ask about? Can I hear y'all thoughts about Cam Akers and Kyron Williams?
Cool, man.
Because I know you got something to say
nervous
about
on Cam Akers.
Yeah.
Man.
So Cam Akers is like, I'm just like not even drafting Cam Akers.
Yeah.
I don't know what's
outside of our pod
team.
team. I think we got Cam Akers.
I don't know what's going to happen with this offense. But then when I'm hearing Kyron Williams, like you go to the follow all the Rams beat reports. They're all saying the same thing. Like he is a big part of their passing game. Like you just can't ignore that. So like if he's in a bad offense now and he's like not getting he's gonna get some catches, but if he's not getting that third down work and I can't get like 3 to 4 catches a game and I got to worry about him falling into the end zone, no thank you.
But okay, so
no, thank
I
you.
will say this because I know you brought up the Cam Akers and Kyron Williams thing. Last year, Cam Akers wasn't getting a lot of targets either. Like it wasn't really part of his game. I think he got at most 3 targets or maybe 3 receptions, right? Mm-hmm. So he wasn't being used a lot in the passing game. But then also, Kyron Williams was a thing last year as far as the buzz. There was a little time period where we heard Kyron Williams was going to start. And I think he actually started a game or 2. And when we saw him, he was Superman.
Yeah, he was Superman.
Like the king man, right? so it's like we're hearing that, and to me, I'm like, okay, are we really going to be afraid of this guy unless he upped his game?
But that's what I'm saying. So one, he was a rookie.
Yeah,
he's never been athletic, so he's coming off an injury. So
he's coming off Kyron. Oh, you talking about Cam? Yeah. You talking about Cam?
No, I'm talking about Kyron Williams.
He's coming off an injury.
He was coming off an injury last year.
Oh, okay.
Remember, he was coming off an injury. Because remember, he was supposed to start the season and be a major factor, and then he got hurt.
That's right.
So then he's coming off. So if you're someone who's like got a poor athletic score, and you're coming off an injury, and you're like less athletic, like to me, like that's a death knell.
Okay.
So
I forgot about that.
For me to like to hear, like clearly they like the guy.
Yeah.
And for me to hear everything that's coming out of camp, and like Sean McVay to me is just like, I don't know. He's like, he could be all over the place with his running back. So it's just a scary situation. If it was a high-powered offense, I'd be signing up. I deal with it. But it's not a high-powered offense. I feel you. That's my issue with it.
But I mean, we're talking about one other guy. So you look at most teams in the league, they got like 3 running backs, 4 running backs that we can all say potentially can get touches. With the Rams, it's only 2 that we're talking about. There's literally not anybody else.
But they're telling me, and again, I'm listening. Okay, and I'm listening right now, and you can choose to listen and disagree, and you can choose to listen and agree.
No, I'm not disagreeing.
I'm just saying you are. I'm just saying like in this situation, because sometimes I listen and I'm just like with you. I'm like, nah, I don't agree with that. But I'm listening, and with this one I agree with. So if I agree with it, then I'm taking the standpoint of Kyron Williams is the third down back, 2-minute offense, and is going to play a role in the passing game. So this is an offense that I'm not really viewing as like this high-powered offense. Mm-hmm. And I do think that it's a bad team that's going to be like down quite a bit. So for me, like if Cam is really just the in between the tackles guy, and he'll get some goal line, but goal line in a bad offense, I don't want that. So like I would just it really is more so like where is he going and who's going around him and who would I rather have? I would just rather have a lot of other guys.
Well, let me ask you this: as far as situation, right? Is there a major difference between, and I'm not talking talent-wise, don't come at me, but situation-wise, is there a major difference between Cam Akers and Javonte Williams?
Situation-wise?
Situation-wise.
Yes, only because Javonte is coming off an ACL.
So you think Cam has a better situation? I'm talking not injury, but more so.
I think Javonte has a better situation because it's more stable. New head coach coming in.
What's stable? The Broncos?
Let me get there. It's more stable from a standpoint of you have a team that is at the bottom. They couldn't get any lower. Morale couldn't get any lower. You bring in Sean Payton, which is a more highly coveted head coach, who's going to simplify things. I have a whole thing on the Broncos. I think number one, Russell.
Sound like you taking a bunch of lease of faith right
now.
No.
Don't get me wrong. I'm like completely out on Russell Wilson. I have 0 shares, and I will continue to have 0 shares.
Okay.
I'm not buying Russell Wilson hype. What I am buying is Sean Payton knows that Russell Wilson is not him, and that I don't even think Russell Wilson was him. To be quite honest, I think Russell Wilson had a good arm. He had legs, and he could make plays.
Yeah.
I think Russell Wilson could really never read defenses. I think he had a lot of difficulty throwing over the middle of the field, and I think defenses figured it out quick. And ever since they figured it out, he's never been the same guy.
Okay.
Occasionally he'll get that deep bomb. Occasionally he'll get like lucky with something. But for the most part, he's not going to be a guy that you can like count on.
Right.
But what I'm saying is, I think Sean Payton is going to simplify this offense. It's going to be more run based.
Okay.
Their O-line to me is better than the Rams. Their head coach right now in their situation, as far as ascending to me is better. I feel like the Rams are descending. I feel like they're in tank mode. I feel like Sean McVay may not be there next year.
It feels
I feel
that
like
way.
It just doesn't feel good, right? It doesn't feel good. Where I feel like Broncos are at least rising, and I think Sean Payton is going to keep Russell under wraps.
My only pushback with everything you just said was and I'm not, well, maybe I am. You're making a lot of assumptions, right? You're making a lot of.
No.
You're making a lot of.
O-line, whose O-line is better? To me, the Broncos O-line is better.
I don't even think we really know.
Well,
I mean, maybe, but I
yeah.
don't
To
think
me-
we
to-
know.
yeah, to me, the Broncos O-line is
I
better.
don't think we know which head coach is in a better situation. We in reality, you can really say it's probably Sean McVay as far as being in the game more recently, won a Super Bowl recently, stuff like that. More stable quarterback, because Stafford, you would say, probably is better than Russell Wilson. But again, I'm not even looking at all those ancillary things, just situation-wise. And the reason I said Javonte is because I think Samaje is going to be the passing down back. So if Cam Akers, because you're saying Kyron's going to take all the passing work, if Cam Baker is the first and second down back between the tackles, which I kind of see Javonte, and I'm not saying Javonte doesn't have the receiving game too.
Yeah, that's where I
just think
disagree.
Samaje is going to have that role.
That's where I disagree. So I don't think it's a passing down guy and a running down
With
guy.
the Broncos?
I just think I think it's Javonte and P Ryan, and I think it'll be just a committee. I think they'll play series as opposed to playing roles. They may play a little roles early on, and I think if Javonte proves to be healthy enough, and I don't have any Javonte. I really have very little Javonte, and I won't really be buying. But if he proves to get healthier, because he is beating like I think he's about to play in the preseason, which is just amazing.
Yeah, he's playing
given
this
that knee, given that knee injury. But if he proves to get healthier, I think it'll just be a series by series thing. And if he's healthier,
So you don't see-
then he'll probably end up taking more of the pie. I don't think it's a situation where like Samaje plays third down. I think
Okay.
with Sean Payton, it's a series by series thing.
Well, the reason I'm saying it because Samaje's calling card last year was the third down back.
yeah, but they've already said they don't see him like that though.
Yeah, but that's what he's been.
Yeah,
That's
prior
not really
to-
what he's really been a backup. When Mixon got hurt, he took over the primary role.
Yeah,
no,
he's
he
a
was the
pass
third down
catching
back for
Yeah.
the Bengals.
He was, but when Mixon got hurt, he took over the entire role.
Which means that he can be.
But so can Javonte.
All right.
Javonte can catch passes.
I think Samaje believes that. I remember hearing an interview, and Samaje was like, I finally get a chance to be the guy and get out of the
Remember,
shadows.
Samaje prior to that, Samaje's not new in the league.
Right,
Samaje's
right.
been around. Samaje's older than Mixon.
I'm not
Samaje
arguing
and Mixon were-
Samaje's like,
But what I'm saying is, I think Samaje's career was resurrected once he embraced the role as the third down receiving, pass blocking running back. And I think he parlayed that into a contract with the Broncos. So the Broncos will use him in that way because now you do have a talented running back in Javonte now. If Javonte's not ready or he ain't the same guy, it's a totally different
I think that's
discussion.
an assumption. I don't know. To me, Sean Payton has always been a guy who's used multiple backs. So I just go to what he's done. Like, I really don't feel like these offensive coordinators and these head coaches, like, who are offensive minds, come in and just, like, rewrite the book. Like, that was my whole thing with, like, with the Chargers. Like, he's just going to bring over the same system. Like, they're not really – so we can really just extrapolate. Like, you can just take what they did at a previous regime and then just bring it forward. Maybe they make some minor changes here or there, but they're not really just creating something brand new. He likes running back by committee. He likes to use multiple backs. He likes to have two guys. So, like, I don't see why that would change now.
All right, but he normally keeps a pass catching back.
I don't necessarily agree. I mean,
if you go back
Mark
to the-
Ingram, outside of
to the
Kamara,
Reggie Bush years.
who was special, all the other running backs, whether it was Pierre or it was Ingram, those guys still played a very prominent role in the passing game as well.
I don't remember Ingram.
I don't remember. I don't even remember Pierre Thomas getting that much passing work, but because I thought it was more Sproles getting the passing work.
Sproles, and then
But those
like
guys
they
are
had
very
Reggie
different
Bush.
to me. Those guys are very different to me. Those guys are
got
like
you.
pass specialists, not just third down guys. Nobody was when Perine was with the Bengals. They weren't like, oh yeah, we got to line him up wide. Oh yeah, we got to throw him a bunch of screens. They weren't doing that. They were just like, you come in on third down and then you'll be the safety blanket. They weren't like, we need you to run routes.
Another thing I want to mention, and it's totally like changing total subject, 100%. Chuba Hubbard.
Mm-hmm.
And this is before, because I put in the chat today, I was concerned about Miles Sanders because he has a groin injury.
All right.
He has a groin injury. He hasn't played any there's been one preseason game. He hasn't practiced in like a couple weeks. They've been saying he's going to come back, but now they're saying he's not going to play the whole preseason. He hasn't practiced at all. But even before the injury, I was paying attention to, because for me, I don't watch preseason games because I don't feel like you gather much from that. I watch team usage from practice reports, and then I also see who's going out there with the first team preseason, whatever. I don't really see the way they're playing, but practice reports from day one with Bryce Young out there, Chuba was getting a lot of work, and I noticed that, right? But I was thinking to myself, okay, they're just trying different, personnel out there and just kind of seeing, new offense, all of that stuff. But I just kept seeing it over and over. Chuba, Bryce Young, and this is like, and I don't know if every team does it, but the Panthers is like, they were saying like the first 11-11, the second 11-11, which means, they had team periods, multiple team periods. I'm talking about the first 11-11.
Yeah.
I was seeing Young, because they have a beat writer that literally like lists the plays. Young to Hubbard, 6 yards. Hubbard up the middle for it. And I was like, why is Hubbard getting all this work?
Yeah.
And then I was like, okay. Then it's like the Miles Sanders injury. And then I've been paying attention. Now, like, okay, he's still hurt. And now it's a groin. It's like,
okay.
I feel like Hubbard is a guy that actually can be a lot more useful than we are considering now. And he's a handcuff to a running back that has gotten hurt in the past. Is hurt right now. I mean, I just feel like somebody can get laid that has value.
Behind him either.
Oh, yeah, nothing behind him.
There's nothing behind him.
The other guy behind him is this guy named, I think it's Raheem Blackshear.
Yeah, more of a special teams
or
guy.
something Blackshear.
Yeah.
Short, small guy. Yeah, not
He's
much of a threat. You know, but he's probably been with the team a couple years now. So
actually, I think he got traded there, or they picked him up last year.
I feel like I think it's last year he was on the team. So I just a guy that I'm able to get super late, like double digit rounds. And he could just be a thing.
He's a really good handcuff because it's a clear situation. The only thing is just not a sexy offense, but sometimes you don't need that. They weren't a sexy offense last year, and him or Deontay Foreman, whoever was like
Foreman had
charge,
some weeks. Yeah,
they had weeks.
Yeah.
So like all those guys can be helpful. People want to go after the Jerome Fords and the Jalen Warrens, but Chuba Hubbard could be just as valuable.
Speaking of Deontay Foreman, how you feeling about the Bears backfield?
I have no idea what's going on.
I'm still Roschon.
Roschon?
I do think if you were like buying all these late round Herberts, like he's like a poor man's James Conner, maybe.
Like there's some value there, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, there's some value there. I agree.
I think my bias for Roschon got in the way. I probably should have got more shares back then.
Yeah, because he didn't look bad last year. Herbert didn't look bad in that.
He's never looked bad. He's never looked bad. My whole thing with him was just that like they were like he can't pass protect. He can't pass protect. He can't pass protect. That offensive line is not very good at pass protection. So, like, they kept talking about how Roschon was the best pass protecting back, on that team. He's not really known for his receiving work. I could care less about the screen. Like, that's the one thing. Like, the preseason, like, people are playing, like, vanilla defenses. Like, why are you running the screen in the preseason anyway? I don't understand some of these play calling. Like, I don't get. But either way, like, he's not known for his pass catching. So for me, like I'm just taking the cheaper of the options. Actually, I guess technically Foreman is, but I just have very little faith in Foreman, like kind of finding his way through.
Foreman might be the one that just surprised all of us.
He maybe.
Because I haven't heard a lot, but every time I've heard anything about him, it's been positive.
But I've never heard him like be like the first team guy. That's what
I'm saying. I haven't heard any of that.
I've heard Roschon, I think, at times maybe. I've heard Roschon being like the best pass blocking back, and then obviously Herbert getting the majority of the ones. But I haven't really heard, Foreman kind of in any of those roles.
Yeah. I mean, he might just be one of those guys just kind of steady chugging along, and then everybody else get hurt. Last man standing.
That's literally what he's been his entire career.
Exactly. And he ends up winning the fantasy season for somebody. So
last man standing. All right, guys. So we're going into preseason game 2. Are there any games that you guys are looking forward to or want to pay attention to because there's some ambiguous backfields or
all of them? And again, I don't watch them.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to say I don't watch them. I put them on TV for entertainment because it's football, and I like football being played, but I'm not really studying them. But you do gather information. I think there's somebody from PFF. I think his name is Nathan.
Yeah.
After every game, after every game, he's like putting out snaps, like who's playing with what team and all that. I think that's great information.
Yeah,
I think you can learn a lot from that.
I like it. I watch it for the eyeball test. Like one big thing that I took away was like Alvin Kamara. I was like, ooh man,
how'd he look?
He looked damn good.
Yeah.
I mean, he looked damn good.
How did they use him?
They used him the way they should have used him last year. I was so pissed. They used him the way they should have used him last year. Like all the narratives that we was hearing, like the narratives that like my right ear just like wanted to hear, like came true. Like Derek Carr was like looking for him in the pass game. Like he looked spry. They were using him on a little bit of outside zone or outside gap schemes where he could like actually like hit the corner a little bit. He looked like he wanted to play. He looked like he wanted to be there. And did he score a touchdown? No, he didn't score a touchdown. But they used him like in the red zone.
Yeah.
They used him like in the red zone. I mean, the offense as a whole just looked really good.
But wait, did they use Jamal Williams with them?
No, it was all Kamara with that first team.
Really?
100% Kamara.
That's interesting.
And then when Winston came into the game, then Jamal Williams came into the game.
Interesting.
Yeah. Ooh, man, I'm telling y'all. Whew. Yeah. I would. If they're going to use him like that, I would be okay.
Pete Carmichael, I believe.
Pete Carmichael, yeah. Man, I want to punch him.
Who was he OC of last year?
Pete Carmichael. Same.
Oh, he was same OC.
Yeah, same OC. But what I was kind of hearing in the offseason was like they wanted more explosive plays in the offense. They really spoke with David Carr about like how to make the offense a little bit better.
Derek Carr.
Derek Carr. I think they even brought in Gruden because Gruden was with him when he had some of his more successful years.
Yeah.
But then they also like apparently like Kamara said like they like also talked about like how to like really utilize him more in the passing game.
Okay.
He's been working with the receivers more, and like this is like a situation where again I want to hear it, so I want to believe it.
Yeah.
But just to see it, and the other thing too is again we keep talking about how Andy Dalton was in DGAF mode last year. Derek Carr like made Josh Jacobs last year because of all the receptions and all the dump downs, and that's Josh Jacobs. Now you got an Alvin Kamara, and the thing too is like they have weapons now. Teams can't. I don't care like what version of Michael Thomas this is. You can't ignore Michael Thomas. You definitely can't ignore Chris Olave. Jawan Johnson looks really good as well.
He looked good.
And then if
Shaheen's there too.
Yeah, if he comes back healthy, like you can't ignore that. So like now you're back in an offense where
Jimmy Graham.
you gotta just give like Kamara those dump downs. Because like you don't want to get beat over the top. Now you have a competent quarterback back there, so you almost have to give him that and say, all right, we'll let him like beat us in the short game. Like to me, I don't know. Like I'm getting excited. I really am getting excited. I feel like we could be seeing 70 plus catches from Kamara this year.
So let me ask you this, because you've been drafting, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The time.
Sorry, not 70.
Let me first ask this: since they announced that he's going to get a three game suspension, has his ADP risen, dropped, or has it been the same?
It has risen a little bit.
It's risen.
Yeah, he's like a 7th round pick now.
Do you think he's still worth a pick there, or you got your shares already?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it depends on the team, but absolutely. I feel like they have one of the easiest schedules too in the NFL.
So then why, bruh?
What?
Why the hell weren't you taking them earlier?
Because I watched them run him in between the tackles.
Oh, you didn't like the way they used him
it
before.
It was terrible, and he didn't look that good.
So the way you saw him this past week, you convinced.
He looked like Kamara.
Okay, I got you.
Go back and watch it. He looked like Kamara.
I got you.
He looked like Kamara.
Well, maybe we should be asking you what else.
But like, not only like he looked like Kamara, not only like the moxie was there, like the like he looked excited. Remember I told y'all last year? I was like, this man looks like he does not want to be out there. He looks like, okay, like this is what y'all want me to do. Y'all want me to run, you know, in between the guards or the entire game. Okay, all right. You're just running between, like, interior run,
protecting
running
himself
like,
a little bit.
Not even protecting him, but he was just like, all right, I'll do it. But this looked like, this version of Kamara looked like the old version of Kamara. And he looked excited. He looked happy to be out there. So
that's crazy. All right.
Yeah. There were a couple guys. James Cook is another one. Like I'm buying all the hype.
You came in the chat just talking up. What did James Cook do that made you?
He just. I like how they used him. I like it was again. This may not mean much, but the fact that like so Anthony Richardson, that's another story. I actually like how he played despite that early interception. So he threw a pick early on, so they were already kind of like, somewhat in the red zone. But it was like 3 straight plays to James Cook, just run off, hand off, look good on all of them, and then ran it into the end zone.
What do you think they're going to do at the goal line?
So this is the thing. So Damian Harris is obviously injured. You obviously have Josh Allen
Came back
there.
today, I believe.
Yeah, you have Josh Allen there. So I understand all that, but like
Latavius Murray, don't sleep on Murray.
Yeah, but you can sleep on Murray.
I heard he's look good.
I saw him that entire game. Like he played a lot that game.
Oh, you play?
He played a lot that game, and like it that's the thing about preseason. It's like again, vanilla defenses. They're gonna allow like dump offs to the running backs. So he got a lot of those and like picked up like. But it was just like okay, take that dump off. It really wasn't anything that he did special. Yeah. But this is one of those rare situations where you have a young back. He's coming into the second year. Yeah. And I told you I was gonna fade him next year. I faded him last year, and I was like, because I plan on drafting him the following year. But second year running back, he's explosive. You've heard talks in camp that he's been the guy, that he's been the primary guy. Like that's been a steady drumbeat. They have passing games, but what I love most is that he's in an explosive offense. There's no longer Nyheim Hines there. He is the best pass catcher on that team easily. So it's a situation.
James Cook now.
It's a situation where you don't need a lot of volume, and he's in a very explosive offense where he could just like smash.
So you're sold on James Cook?
Oh, absolutely.
After Chris told us. Like 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago.
I told you I gave him his flowers. I gave him his flowers.
Chris told us James Cook and Pollard are right there.
No. James Cook is not Pollard. But
you said he's in the same tier.
James Cook and Tony Pollard are not in the same tier. But I do think James Cook
sounds like Chris's conviction.
No.
That's all I'm saying.
James Cook, because Tony Pollard is like clear. Like there's no, you don't have to like say this happens or this happens. Like it's Tony Pollard.
I got you.
But like a Jahmyr Gibbs, like to me, like there's no reason like James Cook should not be going where Jahmyr Gibbs is going, or where Gibbs should not be going where James Cook is going. Whether that's the third round, the fourth round, the fifth round, like the two are the exact same to me. They really are the exact same to me.
Got you.
All right, guys, that's it for this week.
No. Wait.
In fact, James Cook is probably
better
than Jahmyr Gibbs.
Couple things.
All right, good.
Yeah. Number one, Dynasty guys. So something I used to do in all our earlier shows. I used to always end the show with like a Dynasty guy that I've been kind of watching. 2 guys though.
All right.
For the Patriots, Demario Douglas, a wide receiver.
Okay. Never heard of that man in my life.
This is Dynasty, right? Hearing nothing but great things. Yeah. Hearing so many great things where I wouldn't be surprised this dude is like on the Tank Dell, Zay Flowers type level of things, right? But totally being ignored. And the people in Dynasty know him now. Like he's not I'm just this for people that he's been slipped through the cracks. Him, number one. And then number 2, Calvin Austin III for the Steelers.
Oh, wow.
Okay? Look at him. Look at him. These are guys that are probably on your waiver wire in Dynasty. This is not redraft, by the way. Don't go out and in redraft, just stay ready. Be aware if they end up being a guy, like be up there and get them in the waiver wire. But for Dynasty, add these guys to your roster and just kind of see what happens. A third guy is Jordan Mason, who might be the handcuff to C-Mac.
I keep telling people, it's like, I literally have not drafted Elijah Mitchell this entire, maybe once, but I've just been avoiding him like the plague. We have assumed that he is a handcuff, and even if he is the handcuff,
he can't stay healthy.
He can't stay healthy, but even if C-Mac goes down, I don't necessarily know that he's getting like the workload that he was getting in the past. Yeah. Like they keep talking of Jordan Mason. They even keep talking of Ty Davis Price too as well. Like it just like I feel like if C-Mac went down, it would be like a committee, like a pretty much a full.
It's funny because I just talked about Demario Douglas. Look at the picture right below that, Zay Flowers.
Yeah.
The second thing though is I was watching the show you were on recently. You were talking about you have a notebook of notes you've taken. Okay. And I'm like, oh, you ain't shared this with us.
Right.
You're going to share it with people on a whole nother show.
I tried to tell you.
And I'm like, man, I don't know anything about no notebook. Right. So can you give us a few gems? You ain't got to put the whole thing out. Maybe we end every show with
I didn't put everything out there.
Okay, but maybe we end the show with just a few gems from Abby's notebook. I didn't even know the notebook existed. Did you know the notebook?
No. All we get was text messages.
Yeah,
that's all we get.
That boy said I have a full notebook.
I got a full notebook. That's it.
Yeah, there's 2 different notebooks. There's the immediate postseason notebook. Like Super Bowl's over. Like I just want to I got so many thoughts.
We talked about that. Yeah.
I got so many thoughts that I just want to get out and I don't want to forget because I'm I feel very strongly about this,
Mm-hmm.
and it's never gonna be 100% right. But I feel like in the past, it's like I feel like if I would have like stayed with those core beliefs, because that shows you like how much like how little changes with all the news and everything that gets kind of thrown out there between February and August for like certain things to like really hold true throughout the season.
Yeah.
So that like I have that notebook, and then I just have just like a general notebook that I kind of keep throughout the.
So give us something from your notebook, man. Let the people know.
I give it to you every single day.
Okay.
It just sounds so ridiculous that you just like ignore it.
Okay, all right.
Like the Kamara one is like, that's like kind of one like I've been following. Certain things I like follow are just like the situations that like I'm not quite sure of.
Yeah.
So I just like, I take notes as far as, okay, like I said, I like to add up data points. And then I like to try to like ideally like kind of come to the conclusion. But I try to like make sure like I'm including everything, like the entire full picture.
Yeah.
That way I'm like not going down a bias. That way I'm not just like searching for good Kamara news.
Got you.
Like I'm trying to like
Those biases kick in.
They really do. They really do.
Y'all
So,
got them too. Both of y'all do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I probably do too, but y'all got them.
Yeah.
Two more things.
All right, go ahead.
I want to add another guy,
Uh-huh.
Trey Parker. No, Trey Palmer. Trey
Palmer. Okay.
Right. And we drafted him in our dynasty
Yeah,
team.
yeah.
I was the one that told y'all about it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Because and the reason that's so I'm dumb like this, right? But what sold me on him was, first of all, he started at LSU, then he transferred to Nebraska last year. Yeah. Oh, but there was one game he killed the other team, like killed. And then he did an interview after the game. He was just like up there, like, man, look, I knew I was gonna kill these boys. No face, no case. Like he was just talking like that. And I was looking at this dude like, this dude is a dog.
Yeah.
This dude is a dog. And he got drafted like in the 5th or 6th round for the Bucks. And I knew he was super fast. He had a breakout age.
Yeah.
And I think when we were up on the clock in Dynasty, I was like, hey, y'all, look at this guy.
Yeah,
The Bucks
yeah.
ain't got nobody else. Let's just take him.
Yeah.
And we took it. I think we were even considering dropping it if nothing happened.
Yeah.
But then today with the news of Russell Gage injury,
Yeah.
Oh,
he
yeah.
might actually have a role this year.
Yeah, doors
So
open.
in Dynasty,
Yeah.
pick him up if he's out there.
Yeah, we don't know what's going to happen with Mike Evans or even maybe
Yeah.
Chris Godwin.
I mean, he might be the
Yeah.
future.
Didn't he say, or did they just drop it the old quote when they asked
What?
him about Sauce Gardner? Or was that a meme?
No, he
No face, no case. Did he say that about Sauce
He
Gardner?
said that today, yeah.
No
Yeah.
face, no case.
And he did a 50-yard catch on him today.
Yeah.
No face, no case.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I
Or he said
that.
something like that. And then the other thing is, we're gonna have to add another fourth mic, man,
What? We're in the 4th month?
next week.
Oh,
All right.
we got another guest in.
All right.
Another
Okay,
fourth
and there will
mic.
be a show next week.
All right.
Fourth mic, fourth
All right,
mic,
So we got
so-
a hit. All right. So we
Yeah,
got another
so-
heater.
Who's coming through? Okay.
don't know.
All
I
right.
guess we'll
All right, we're
figure
gonna
it
find
I
out.
don't know. I don't know. We'll see who
we'll
shows
find
up.
All right, guys. That's our pod this week. Please like, rate, subscribe. We're out.
Wait, hold up, wait. Like, rate,
Subscribe.
and share.
Yeah. Look, there's gonna be a little thing that pops up that says subscribe. Subscribe.
And
right?
share.
Yeah. Click that link and subscribe.
All right, guys. We're out.
Appreciate it. Yes, sir.